couple months in, we had a contest to see who could come the most times in a week. And
Oh,
wow, people went crazy. So
that's
that was
amazing.
fun. We gave prizes. We gave a little prize to the winner, and then the winner got to pick the theme for the Saturday class. So that was fun. Different people picked, like one person picked sciatica, exercises for sciatica. What my friend picked costumes. I want a class where everybody has to
Oh,
wear costumes. We really
that,
had a good time with that.
Welcome to Grind It Out Video Podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and today I have Carol with me here for a chat. Let's go.
hello, Carol. How are you
Hey,
today?
good. I'm good. Happy to be here.
Amazing. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I am the owner of Sanchez Street Studios, which has been around since 1995. So we've been here in the same location for many, many years. I was a professional dancer before I started teaching Pilates and had an injury and discovered Pilates as a way to recover for the injury. And then went back to dancing. And then as I got older and wanted to have children, I thought I needed to have a job, a way of making money that didn't involve traveling the world. So I started teaching Pilates, and it's been fabulous for me to have a job where I can set my own hours and go around my kids' schedule and be a, super involved mom and still support my family in this extremely expensive city. And yeah, I love it because I feel like I have not thrown away all the knowledge I gained as a professional dancer. I'm still using everything about how bodies work. And I find people fascinating. So it's kind of a perfect job for me because people are a puzzle sort of, and everybody's different. And I get to figure out the puzzle. I get to figure out how psychologically how to inspire someone, and also what's going on with their body in particular, and how to make them as strong and flexible as I possibly can, and also give them a feeling of mastery. It's one of my goals, is to make people understand and partner with their body, not feel like they're in an antagonistic relationship or that their body's not good enough, but to get people to feel empowered is my goal. So I've used Pilates to do that.
Amazing. So, what are some of your insights in terms of owning and managing a studio business?
Well, like most Pilates studio owners, I have no business degree. I don't have a four-year college degree. I'm a dancer who studied Pilates. So I had to figure it out on my own. And I had friends with Ellie Herman, who has her own Pilates empire. So she was incredibly generous with me as far as mentoring me on owning a studio. And I learned from her and other friends of mine and my trial and error. And now that I've been doing this a lot, I mentor a lot of younger studio owners, and that feels really rewarding to me, so that they don't have to feel like they're reinventing the wheel. And I think as women in the helping professions, we're kind of socialized to care for people, and we have to learn how to set boundaries with people and how to be clear communicators and take care of ourselves. And so that's something I feel very strongly about, and I feel like I can help people learn how to set those boundaries and enjoy the work without letting it burn you out, which is challenging. Yeah.
So, I know you have some insights on like when you had some obstacles during COVID and
Mm-hmm.
how you managed to make changes to your studio systems and management.
Yes.
What's the
Yes.
story about that?
Well, we were fortunate because right before COVID hit, AB5 was passed in California, where we were required to pay our people as employees, and previously everyone was an independent contractor. And not all studios complied with that. It was the industry standard to pay people as independent contractors, and not everybody changed. But I felt like it was really important for people to have workman's comp insurance. That I feel that it's important that teaching Pilates is a profession, and people should be paid like professionals, and there should be benefits, there should be sick pay, there should be all these things that you would have in a regular job. So I went ahead and made the switch. And I also started a membership where people had unlimited access to our MAT classes. And I did that because I live in a city that's full of Pilates, and I had a lot of people that were like taking a class here, taking a class there, and I didn't feel like it was serving them as far as progressing. And so I thought, well, if I make an unlimited membership, it will drive people to come. It will be in their financial best interest to come more frequently. And so I did that, and it was very successful. I had people who, since I've been around so long, I had people who had been coming once a week for years. And you don't get very far that way. And suddenly, because they had a financial incentive to come more, they were coming more frequently, and the whole community became stronger. And then when COVID hit, it was kind of funny. We were in Mexico. I was teaching on a retreat, and we were just all blissed out. We're on the beach. It's gorgeous. We're doing Pilates. We're doing melt. And we came back, and suddenly I was like, what in the world is going on? And we called a meeting for Monday to discuss how we were going to deal with this COVID thing. And then my studio manager called and reached out to me. He said, well, we don't have to have the meeting. The mayor shut down the city. So I was like, well, I guess the decision is out of our hands. So all businesses had to close. And all I could think of was, oh my gosh, we have all these people with memberships that are going to want to cancel their memberships. So within 24 hours, we got on Zoom. We got all our classes on Zoom and added more classes. And we really went from people coming once or twice a week to many, many people coming every single day, and using Pilates class as sort of a check-in, seeing all their friends, seeing all the people they were used to seeing, even though they were isolated in their homes, and having that structure. So it was great for us. I didn't have to lay anybody off. And it was great for my community because they got stronger and they could have a community to touch base with almost daily. And then a couple months in, we had a contest to see who could come the most times in a week. And wow, people went crazy. So that was fun. We gave prizes. We gave a little prize to the winner, and then the winner got to pick the theme for the Saturday class. So that was fun. Different people picked, like one person picked sciatica, exercises for sciatica. What my friend picked costumes. I want a class where everybody has to wear costumes. We really had a good time with that. Yeah.
That was during COVID when you were still online, right?
Yeah, we were only online. And then we also started a guest teacher. Once a month, we would pull in a teacher from out of town, because why not? And I thought, people are coming every day. They're going to get super sick of me and my teachers, even though we're endlessly fascinating, obviously. So once a month, we'd pull in a teacher. We had someone from Canada, someone from North Carolina. We had all these, Kara came in and did a class from New York. So we had a lot of really wonderful, inspiring teachers. And that was nice. And originally I had thought, well, other teachers will want to come, but everybody came. Like all my students came. People really enjoyed it and enjoyed learning from people. So that was really very successful.
Amazing. What was the system that you did immediately when the COVID measures hit? Like you did everything within 24 hours, which is amazing and really quick.
Yeah. Well, we got on Zoom, and I'm not a super tech person, and we had, I had always just, had the lowest level computer and phone, and I had to upgrade everything because everything was too old to run Zoom, and I had to upgrade my phone. And luckily, I'm in San Francisco, so I have students who work for Apple and were able to give me a discount and help me buy new technology. So I've been really fortunate that way. And then I don't know if you know from where you live, but in the United States, you could apply for the PPP loan if you had employees based on what you paid your employees. So we got 2 of those, and then we won a Facebook grant. So we actually got a lot of support, and I used that support. I had always just spent the least amount of money possible on technology, but I got a big fancy air purifier. I bought a new heating system. I bought some new equipment. I, for the first time, I've been in business for over 25 years. I paid a business consultant. I took a marketing course. I just really invested in the business. And I'd have to say we have grown and grown and grown because of that. It's been really good. Yeah.
So do you still do memberships now in class,
Mhm.
in person classes?
We do. We have a membership for our mat and melt and springboard class. So our 10-person classes, there's an unlimited membership. And recently we switched from Mind Body to Moments. And Moments includes a library function. So we have a library. So if you're a member, you also have access to the library. So if you can't make it to class, you can do the class online. And now we've also started to post shorter segments, and those have been super popular, like a half hour, just get right to it class, or like a 15-minute, just your feet, or just hand weights at the wall, just short little things. So if you want to take a 15-minute break from your desk, you can do it. And that's been really popular. So that comes along with your membership, but we also have a video only membership that's less expensive.
So for people who come to the in-person classes, how do you manage the demand and supply, like of having enough teacher doing the classes and then
That's
yeah.
been challenging. It's been really challenging for us because when we were online only, it didn't matter. You know, that we had 25 people, it doesn't matter. But we're in San Francisco. We don't have a huge space, and we use every millimeter of the space that we have. So we've had some challenges because we have a 10-person class and we only have 10 spots, and they're filled up with a waiting list all the time. And so we added more, and they're filled up with a waiting list all the time. So we'll be adding more classes in the fall. We could definitely stand to hire another teacher, but we have a super cohesive team right now. And I feel like we're successful because of the quality of the teachers here. And some of them have been with me for over 10 years. I have Jackson and Nadia who have gone through my training program and have been with me for over 10 years. And they're just amazing teachers. And then I have some newer teachers who are fantastic and just killing it and working really hard and continuing to learn. Ryan and Pedra and Danielle and Andrea, it's a very cohesive group. And so I do need to hire another teacher, but I'm not desperate enough to hire someone that I don't think will fit in well with our team.
Mm-hmm. Do you take teachers that are newly graduated, and do you think immersing them in your space would?
I do. I have four teachers who I hired right out of their training program, and two of them worked as apprentices before they had completely graduated. But the two that were apprentices in my program, so I knew them. And then the two that I hired right out of a teacher training program had graduated from the Pilates Center of Boulder teacher training program. So they're excellently trained teachers. And of course, I mentor people and give them feedback. I take everybody's class and I give them feedback on their teaching. And that's really important because you can have the best training in the world, but then when you get in front of real people, it's a little challenging because they're unpredictable. So I do, but I will not hire someone who doesn't have really strong training, because I don't have time to teach them the work. I have time to teach them how to teach the work, but they have to know the work in order to teach here. And people, I know in some studios, or even in the past in my studio, people have been reluctant to take a sub. And now we're in a good position where people are happy to take a sub because they know everyone is very well trained here and knows what they're doing. So my reputation is super important to me. And I'd rather have people on a waiting list than hire someone that I don't have faith in their knowledge.
Amazing. How do you hire people? Like, what's the minimum standard of?
Well, they have to be comprehensively trained. So I don't hire anyone that just has mat training, for example, or reformer training. They have to be comprehensively trained. And maybe I'm stepping into some hot water here, but I want them to be classically trained. So I want them to have either Pilates Center of Boulder, our program. Those are the two that work the best for me. As far as I want someone to know the classical work, but I also want them to know more. And I want them to know how to peel back if it's not working. And those two trainings really deliver that. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
That's great. I know you have yearly retreats too, right? What's your
Yes,
story about that?
yes.
How did you get started?
Well, it was kind of funny. I had never thought about teaching a retreat, and a friend of mine had just had a baby and called me and said, look, I thought I was going to be able to teach this retreat, but I don't feel up to doing it. Would you take my place in Costa Rica? Like, yes. She was like, well, you didn't even ask me what the pay is. And I'm like, I don't care. I've never been to Costa Rica. I'll do it. So I did that first one and partnered with a yoga teacher, Savon Weiland, and it was a lovely experience. And then I just decided, well, I love this and I want to do this on my own. And so the next year, I took a group of people to Nicaragua, which was a little crazy because Nicaragua is, it's not so touristy, but we went to a lovely place and we had a wonderful time and it sold out. And then I've taken some to Costa Rica, and then I've done quite a few in Mexico. And I love Mexico. It's super easy to get there. The food is wonderful. The beaches are wonderful. So next year, we're doing our regular retreat in Mexico with my clients. And my retreats have often been some teachers, some clients. And this coming year, I'm doing my first teachers retreat in Haramara in Mexico. And I'm really drawn to doing this because I feel that, for one thing, when I get around a group of teachers, I'm so thrilled to be able to talk to people that speak my language. And it's exciting because a lot of us are isolated in our own spaces, or even if we work in a studio that has a lot of other teachers, we're teaching, we're not exchanging ideas. So it's really a wonderful time for us to get together and be together and support each other. And I think also we spend so much time caring for people, and a lot of us are also mothers and caring for kids, and we've been homeschooling or whatever during COVID. There's just been so much upheaval. And I think also when we're teaching Pilates and, we're dealing with people's bodies, their emotions are there. And this has been a very stressful time for everyone. And all that stress is coming in our direction. And we sort of need to unwind. And so I'm really excited to give teachers this opportunity. Number one, to be taught, which is relaxing and lovely. And number two, be around their people. Number three, I'm teaching all these self-care techniques that I use, the Mount method, the Mount neurostrength method, that have kept me really feeling good, because you can't do your job if you don't feel good. And a lot of us don't take the time to care for ourselves. So I'm super excited about offering this year. And I also got it NCPC approved. So you will get 16 CECs for this week in Mexico. So I can't think of really a more pleasant way to get your CECs than on a beach in Mexico.
Amazing. So obviously this is because of passion for Pilates and also passion from teaching. But what about the financial side of things? Is it worth it doing retreats?
Yeah, I marketed and promoted, and it's like a snowball, because once you do it and people have an amazing time and they tell all their friends, and I have many people who come back and they bring their friends, or it's just getting that first one is a little tricky. But after that, I can say with absolute honesty that it's an amazing week. And to take people, I teach people and they're learning, but when you're out of your home environment and you're not worried about what you're going to cook for dinner or who has to be picked up, or when you have a solid week to focus on yourself and your health, it's just everyone who comes does something by the end of the week that they couldn't do at the beginning of the week, just because you have that focus time. And so that's rewarding. And then I get to know people, and that's fun too.
Who would you recommend to start a retreat? At what stage as a studio owner?
I would say you do need a certain community to do it. Like, you need to have, and I'm a terrible numbers person, but I would say, you need to have daily classes. I'm not sure I would recommend doing it if you're a sole proprietor. I think it's important to, like, I do it usually with another teacher that works for me, and he has a big following, I have a big following, and we put that together, and it's a good group. I think it's also really important that you are a social person, because a lot of what people are looking for is companionship, friendship. And I know there are some retreat leaders that just do what they do and then they go to their room and they run successful retreats. So that's not me. I'm very social. I eat with everybody. I go on outings with people. We go swimming. We do salsa together. So that's how I do it, and that's how I enjoy it. But there's many ways to do it, obviously. I think really important is that you're excited about the place that you're going, and you talk about it a lot, and if you have a team, you get your team excited about it and talking about it, and that it's a little hard to sell something that you haven't experienced. And so it's important that you've maybe been to the place or read up about it or know someone who's been there. When I've gone to places that I hadn't been before, generally I knew someone who had been there, so I felt confident about bringing people. I think in 2025 we're going to go to Bali, but we're going to go to a place that a good friend of mine recommended. So that's important. Yeah.
Looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges in your Pilates studio?
I think that the challenge we have is finding teachers is challenging, and we're going to need to find more teachers. And I no longer do the teacher training program, and so that's going to kind of come back and bite me probably, but hopefully I will be able to find teachers. And I think going forward, what I'm excited about is how I combine in-studio work with online work, and how I can build a community that's not just in San Francisco. We've done a good job of having a pretty diverse community here, and I'm excited about that. But I do want to figure out how to sort of bust out, and the people I have online now are people who have been here and maybe moved out of town. But I'm thinking, okay, how do I get to those people who have never been here and might be interested? And it's, I've had every retreat, I have someone who's never been to the studio and just thinks this would be fun. And that's kind of fun. It's a thrill to get to know someone who just takes that leap of faith. So that's going to be my next challenge, is how I broaden that so that our library can be used by people all over the world, so that when we're teaching a retreat, people can say, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to meet these people in person. And they can
Amazing. So thank you so much for sharing today, Carol. And I love
Thank
all
you.
of that. And I think it's a good place to end this. Do you have any word of wisdom at this end to share to studio owners who are starting and managing a studio business?
I would say, the thing that I think is most important is to reach out to your fellow studio owners and know that we're all in this together. We're not enemies or competitors. We're all in this together, and to reach out and take class at other places and befriend other people, and just keep studying. That's the thing that keeps me excited about teaching, is to keep learning new things. And one last thing I want to say. This is my mentor, Jennifer Stacy, who's no longer with us, but was a brilliant Pilates teacher. Her advice to me was teach concepts, not exercises. Teach skills, not exercises, and you will never be bored. And I thought that was nice. So I'm going to end with a Jennifer Stacy quote.
Amazing. Love it.